All right. Good morning, cyber friends. This is the Middle Man coming at you again from Walk Studio, back here, Studio B. And we give God all the praise and honor and all the glory. And we also thank God for each and every one of my cyber friends. It's close inner circle as well. You know who you are. This also goes out to my sister Jennifer, one of the inner circle. You had asked me about this here subject matter. I think it was this morning. I think when I found it, I got the message on Facebook that you wanted me to see what my take was on running away from the call of God. And I want to make certain that, my dear sister, that I do justice to it because of the fact that, as far as for me and myself, I only can speak on the experience that I have had. And that's about the only authority that I have on that subject matter. But I will give you on what I feel and I think in my heart. And then I will go and make reference. I will make a couple of reference to some things or a couple of prophets in the Bible that tried to do just this thing, and they was trying to run away from the call of God. First of all, let me be the first one to say that I know for myself that when I was spoken in my spirit, and I felt God strongly in my spirit tell me about doing the Bible study that I'm doing on Blog Talk Radio almost 10 years or more ago. And I can really be honest with you and say that that was a very strong urge in my gut. That's the best way I can explain it. I can explain it to everybody, especially to my sister Jennifer, especially to you, because you addressed this. You wanted me to address this, so I'm really speaking directly to you at this moment. But to everybody that can relate, feel free. It was a strong. It was so strong until it was almost audible. Really, that's the best that I can explain it. But it hit me from here, from the gut, and it said teach. Didn't say a whole lot of words, but said teach. Well, immediately from the get go, I thought this is what I thought from the get go, that it was for me to do music and to do music teaching on the internet. That's what I thought. But no, no, no. That was not it at all. It was some of it, but the main thing was for me to teach the word online using the Blog Talk platform. And see, I was using Blog Talk before I actually started the Bible study. Matter of fact, the Blog Talk platform is what made me come up with the idea, I thought, to do teaching. But I wanted it to be music. But see, that wasn't God's plan. And I later found that out. I later found it out, and it was one night. One night, I was contemplating, and I had asked, I had inquired about to the Lord. Lord, what is it that you want me to do? And it hit me like a ton of bricks. And it was a strong gut feeling. I mean, it hit me right here and said, plain as day, teach. One word, teach. And then I got the verification. Later, I knew I was thinking one thing, that it was just music, but I found out, lo and behold, it was not only music. But he did not deny me to teach music, but the word was the main stem. It was the main gear that which I was supposed to do. And I immediately set up me a Bible study on Blog Talk Radio. I set it up. In the beginning, it was on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. Some of y'all, my inner circle, may not know that because, see, I had dropped that Thursday night long before y'all got on board with me. So that's how come y'all don't know nothing about it. But in the beginning, I was going Tuesdays and Thursday night. But now, I don't know, like I say, if y'all didn't notice it or not, I do not get a whole lot of views on my videos. I don't get a whole lot of views, which is, and I understand why, and I know why. To a degree, I know why, but it was the same way as far with the Bible study was concerned. It was the same way. So I decided that there was a little bit of overkill with me having it 2 nights in a row, Tuesdays and Thursday night, like so. So I decided that I would just go and drop one of the nights and just go to Tuesday night once a week, and we would let it see what that would do, and it did okay. I feel it did it. I feel it like this here. It has done okay, but we are yet to see because see the truth. Most people do not want the truth. So when you speak truth, you most sometimes going to be by yourself. People are not worried about this. Now, if I was doing a strip tease every Tuesday night, I probably could get a lot of views. You understand what I'm saying? But I want y'all to realize that I don't do this for a whole lot of views. Yes, I would love for everyone to hear the gospel. Yes, I want that. But I can't make that happen. Only God can do that. Now, sister, back to your question about people running from the call. Well, I'm going to mention 2 prophets in the Bible that tried and did not want to do what God had called them and wanted them to do. The number one, the one that everybody's familiar with, is hard-headed Jonah. Everybody's familiar with hard-headed Jonah. And we know that God told Jonah to go to Nineveh to preach to that wicked city. There was a wicked bunch of people. Nineveh was wicked, very wicked. But Jonah, and they was an enemy to Israel. And just what? Jonah was Israeli. So you could understand why Jonah didn't want to go there. But nevertheless, this is what God wanted him to do. And instead of him getting him a ticket going toward Nineveh, he went and got him a ticket to go toward Joppa. He was going the other way. The total opposite of what God had told him to do. Well, we know the calamity that happened with Jonah. He ended up being shipwrecked. In other words, not shipwrecked. He almost got this shipwreck with him being on board, and he ended up being thrown overboard by the mariners in which he was traveling with because of he knew why the wind and the waves were raging. It was because of him. And he told the captain of the ship, yes, he told the captain of the ship, my sister Jennifer, that to throw him overboard. And if he wanted peace on his ship, you would have to throw him overboard. And this is exactly what they did. And then not only top of that, then God had a fish prepared for Jonah that took him down to the bottom of the sea. The fish swallowed Jonah and took him down to the bottom of the sea, kept him down there 3 days. Jonah prayed from the fish's belly, and the fish spit him out on dry ground. And they said from the place where the fish spit Jonah out, from that place to Nineveh was a 3-day journey. They said Jonah made it in 1.5 days. So in other words, Jonah finally did what God had wanted him to do from the beginning. Once he was spit out on the dry ground, God told him the same thing. His message was the same. Go to Nineveh. That's what God told him. Go to Nineveh. So now that was Jonah. That was one call. Now, another one that everybody may not be too familiar with, it was another prophet. Same one that did not want to do, and he thought he was not capable of doing the call of God. And that was Jeremiah. Jeremiah never wanted that call. Matter of fact, if you read the story about Jeremiah, that was a girl that he liked. And I think her name was Judith, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that, y'all, but that follow me up on it. And if I'm wrong, then I apologize. But I believe her name was Judith. He was very much in love with this girl, and he wanted to marry her, but God said no. He was never going to have a wife, because God's plan for him was totally different than what he wanted. And so Jeremiah tried to get away from it. So yes, my sister, we can run from the call of God. And though I believe that God gave us free will, God gave all of us free will. But I do believe that when there's a call on our life, whatever it might be, we will regret if we do not do it. And I believe we'll fall into a lot of trouble if we do not follow that call of God. Now, if I know a lot of people saying then, well, if God gave us free will, why would he cause that to be? I don't know the answer to that, sister. I don't know the answer to that. But I do know if God have a call on our lives, if we do not follow through with it, I do believe there are very strict and bizarre consequences that will follow. Take, for instance, look at Jonah. He ended up in the fish belly, in the bottom of the sea, until he came to his senses. So then they say, well, that's not free will. Well, yes, it is when we be put in a difficult situation. When we be placed in a difficult situation, that make our mind change. So it is, in essence, it's still our free will, but we just don't learn some sense. In other words, where God allows, I don't say God calls these bad things to happen. I don't like to say that. But I believe that God stands back and he allows. See, in other words, it's just like if you just remember Jonah. Not Jonah, but if you remember Job. Job thought that it was God that was his problem. But it wasn't God, wasn't the problem. It was Satan. But God allowed Satan. In other words, God withdrew his protection from Job. And by him removing his protection from Job, that allowed Satan to come in and do what he wanted to do to Job at that particular time. But even then, God spared Job because he told Satan, don't touch his soul. So in other words, he would not allow the devil to do no more to Job than he wanted to do. So, yes, we still have free will, and we can run, I do believe, from the call of God, my brothers and my sisters. And Sister Jennifer, I do believe we can do that. Now, I even look at my own self. I feel that for the last 25 years, I've been doing and what I thought was what God want me to do. And he haven't said anything no different to me as of yet, other than when he said teach. And that's what I've been trying to do to the best of my ability ever since I heard that. But beyond that, I'm not going to make myself a self-appointed nothing. I'm not going to make myself a self-appointed anything. In other words, unless I am here from God myself, and I know, and God make me know that that's him. See, a lot of us, we have other people that tell us certain things that God told. I believe God wants you to do this, and then we take other people's word on it that God have called you to preach or whatever it might be. But see, that might not be the case. Just because somebody else say that you a preacher, that don't make you a preacher. That don't make you a prophet. Just because somebody else said that, you have to be very, very careful that you don't listen to people. Now, we got a lot of people now. I'm going to tell you, Sister Jennifer. We got a lot of people out here. They get them a Bible and they get them a few scriptures and they listen to other people say, oh, man, oh, girl, you know you good. You ought to be up there. You need you a church. No, that might not be the case. You cannot listen to people, but you must listen to the word, to the voice of God. Now, I must admit that I believe this. I could be wrong, but I do believe that there are a lot of people, male and female, that have walked out on the gospel plow, grabbing hold to that plow when God has not told them to do that. But they were listening to what other people have said. In other words, they probably got up a couple of times and did a speech or something in church and everybody clapped. And they liked it. And then they told them, oh, you should be a preacher. And then they didn't take that and run with it. But see, if God hadn't told you that, you better leave it alone. That's what I believe, my sister. And now I do believe that we can run from the call. But I do believe some of us can jump ahead of the call. In other words, I'm going to tell you about Midian. Midian is going to stay right where he's located until the Lord tell him to do otherwise. In other words, I'm going to enjoy my ministry where it's at. I'm not looking for a mega church. I'm not looking for a church, period. But only what God will want me to do. That's all I want to do. Because, see, that is all that God is going to bless. It's what he initiates. See, if God don't initiate it, he ain't got to help you with it. And that's why a lot of these ministries fail. And a lot of these mega ministries and a lot of these pastors and preachers and teachers like myself, we fail it because of the fact that we go out on our own. God hadn't told us to do it. But anything that God initiates, he is required to help you with it, and he will help you with it. And you can rest assured that it will succeed. Now, you may not have a whole bunch of people with you. You may not have a whole bunch of people with you, but I guarantee you will succeed if you do what God tell you to do. So I tell everybody, as me and myself included, if God do give you the call, don't run, yield, because it'll be your best bet to go and yield to the call of God, because you will not run into don't let God have to send you to Fish University, or I should say Whale University. Don't let God have to do that. And then like he did Jeremiah, he would not let Jeremiah marry. And according to certain scholars, they said that the girl that he wanted to marry, she ended up getting killed. She was, matter of fact, I think they was trying to kill Jeremiah and ended up killing her in the process. But now, did God do that? I don't think so, people. But God got his sovereign. God is sovereign, and God is always going to have his way. So, you know what? It's a real ticket situation. But we do know that God gave us free will. So we can make our own decision and our own choices. But I guarantee you, if we don't make the right one, we will always regret it. That's my take on that, sister. So can we run away from the call? Yes, we can. Should we run away? I don't think we should. And that all that Midian can tell you about that at this here present time. But until the next time, you know, as always, ask me anything, and if I can try to help, I will. I'll do it to the best of my knowledge and on knowledge of the Bible. But I'm not going to give you anything outside of Scripture. That being said, this Midian saying peace and good morning, sister.